Welcome to another episode of the Georgia Workers' Compensation video series. My name is Jason Perkins. I'm an attorney that specializes in Georgia workers' compensation cases. I created this series to provide people who've been injured at work with helpful information about the rules of Georgia's workers' compensation law and the benefits available to them under it. Today I want to discuss whether Georgia's workers' compensation laws change. Yes, they do change. They change in two different ways. The first is a change in the statutes, which are passed by the Georgia legislature, which created Georgia's workers' compensation laws. The other way that the rules change is by state board rules that are passed by the Georgia State Board of Workers' Compensation's directors that determine how those laws are interpreted and enforced. Let's talk about changes in the Georgia workers' compensation statute first. Now, in recent years, there haven't been too many major changes in Georgia's workers' compensation statutes. The last major change that really affected injured workers a lot occurred back in 2013 when the rules were changed so that you only receive medical benefits in your workers' compensation case for up to 400 weeks from when you were injured. Now, that was a major change in the law because before that change, you were eligible to receive medical treatment potentially for life, as long as that medical treatment was related to your injury and with authorized doctors under workers' compensation. So if you had an injury and you needed surgery 10, 15, 20 years down the road because of that injury, it was covered. Or if you continued to need medication or other medical treatment, it would be covered as well. But they changed the law so that if your injury occurred after July 1st, 2013, in most cases, you were only covered with medical treatment for 400 weeks, which is about 7.5 years. Now, there are exceptions to that rule if your case qualifies for what is called a catastrophic designation, but that was a major change in Georgia's workers' compensation statutes. As I mentioned, Georgia workers' compensation rules can also be changed by State Board of Workers' Compensation rules that interpret those statutes. And there have been some recent changes in the state board's rules. Two major changes involve some changes to what's called the panel of physician rules. The panel of physicians is a document your employer is required to post that basically determines what workers' compensation doctors that you can treat with. And those rules as to how the employer has to post a panel of physicians and what doctors can be on it were loosened up a little bit so that you don't have as much ability to treat with independent doctors as you used to. So I won't get into all the specific changes here, but it's just important to know that those changes hurt injured workers somewhat because they made it more likely that your employer's panel of physicians would be valid when it was posted, even if it contained what are called associated doctors. A second major change in recent years to the rules was the ability of insurance companies now to appoint nurse case managers in your case without your consent. And I'm starting to see a lot of nurse case managers working in workers' compensation cases since this change was put into effect. Now again, the Georgia workers' compensation laws can change in those two different ways, so it's important to keep up to speed and know what changes may be happening in your case. I hope you found this information about whether Georgia workers' compensation laws change helpful. If you have, please let me know that. Best way you can do that is by liking this video or giving it a thumbs up or by leaving a comment below. If you've got specific questions about your Georgia workers' compensation case, I think the best way to get those questions answered is to set up a free consultation with a workers' compensation attorney. If you'd like to schedule one with me, I'd be happy to do so. There's two easy ways that you can do that. The first is by calling our office, the phone number that's listed on the bottom of the screen, or the second is by visiting our website, which is www.perkinslawtalk.com, where you can complete and submit our free consultation request form. You can also find additional information about workers' compensation, including articles that are written by me there. So if you want to find out more information about workers' compensation, that can be helpful too. Thanks again for watching today, and I want to wish you the best of luck as you recover from your injury.